introduction. I appreciate that. So before I get started, can you please rise if you or someone you know struggles with mental health? Now take a moment to look around. We are not alone. We can do this together. Please take a seat. Thank you. Now I want to clarify something from the get-go. I am not here to lecture you guys. All right, you guys probably get enough of that in school. I'm here instead to inform you and empower you. All right. Throughout this talk, I'm going to give an opportunity. I'm going to ask you guys to answer some questions. Parents and guardians alike, I encourage you all to please participate. So I know I just said that this wasn't going to be a lecture, but I am going to start out by talking numbers, and I promise I'm not going to do it again. But in a population of 100,000 females, aged 15 to 19, 553 of them will die by suicide. In a similar population of 100,000 males, again aged 15 to 19, 1,938 of them will die by suicide. That is the second leading cause of death, second that only to accidental injury. Okay? Second leading cause of death. This rate is 3 times higher for males than it is for females. 3 times higher. Now these numbers are staggering, but they can be changed. So the young men in this room, I know that you aspire to so much. I know that you have so much to look forward to in this life. You have goals that you chase down. So the parents in this room, I know that you spent your life chasing down these goals while raising children and inspiring the next generation. So the teens in this room, I have been in many of your shoes. So the parents in this room, not so much, hopefully with time, although not too soon, I would hope. So this is not all to say that I've seen it all, because I have not. And this is not to say that I know how each and every one of you might feel, because I don't. But what I do know is that I almost made a big mistake, and there's no reason why anyone else should have to do the same. Here today, as members of BBYO, you are representing a cause that is greater than yourselves, and that in and of itself is so empowering, so powerful. Your decisions today are going to create your tomorrow and the days to come from there and then on. This crowd before me is intimate, but it's also very diverse. I know that for many of us, we share the same values and beliefs, and that is so powerful. I wish I could know more of you in time. Hopefully that will come. I'll get an opportunity to speak to some of you. I'm thankful for my opportunity to be here today and share my experience with all of you. And as we are keenly aware, we need to talk about mental health. So when I say mental health, again, I want to see a show of hands. What comes to mind when I say mental health? What do you think? Right here. Depression and anxiety. Great, exactly. Another. Anyone else? Don't be shy. It's all right. So now if I were to ask you before today, before these workshops, mental health, what do you think? What comes to mind? Again, I want to see a show of hands. And don't be shy. Be honest. What did you think?
I know there's like a stigma going around that if you have mental problems that you're weaker than the rest.
Yep, and that's definitely a valid thought, right? There is no right or wrong answer. The fact is, it's easy to write off something you don't know and you don't understand. And that, for many of us, is mental health. What is important to realize is that everyone is facing difficult times in one way or another, each and every one of us. So my story. It was 4 years ago, near the end of the summer. I was returning from a convention in Cleveland. When I got home to my house, the house I was renting out in Amherst where I was going to school, came home to a flooded kitchen. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. At that moment, I hit my breaking point. I jumped in my car, I sped down the residential streets doing 75 miles an hour when I called my mom to say goodbye. I was fortunate that due to her quick thinking, her ability to help, that she got people there to help me and get me to be safe. 1 minute, I was coming home, the next, police and paramedics. So how did this happen? I'll tell you. I'm guilty of keeping to myself. At the time of my crisis, I was the president of my fraternity, Alpha Epsilon Pi, of which some of you may be familiar. I felt as president, I needed to represent myself in a certain way. I was the leader. People looked to me. So I had to look in a certain way and act a certain manner. When I first notified our vice president, the first person I told in our chapter, who also happens to be my fraternal big brother, he had no idea. He didn't have a single clue. He was one of my best friends. And it was at that exact moment I realized my mistake all along. The two of us, I'd like to think, were a force to be reckoned with. Communication was our top priority. Communication within the brotherhood, the executive board, outside organizations, the list goes on. But I forgot what I needed for myself as a person, and personal communication completely fell by the wayside. It was my ego. My ego got in the way. After I sent the email to the chapter letting them know that what was happening, that I wouldn't be returning for my second semester as president and be withdrawn from a semester, the love and support that I got back was unbelievable. It was bar none. Before I sent the email, I was worried. I was worried about the negative perceptions about my need to step down from this position, compounded by the fact that this involved mental health, something that I never know how someone's going to respond to. So this was a big thing for me. But once I responded and got those responses from people, I realized that I had all of these friends there all along that were ready to support me. But again, I let my ego, my stubbornness get in the way. And that was my mistake. So now, if you're paying any attention, you've likely concluded that my life kind of sort of went off track. And if you're assuming that, you'd be correct. My plan was, I was studying bio, I was on the pre-med track, I was going to med school, I was going to finish my presidency. That was my plan. My plan did not so much include withdrawing from my semester. Now, if I can say so, I like to think I've come a very long way since then. I certainly needed various forms of treatment and support, no question about that, but I was able to get back on my feet. Now, I'm not to say this was easy, it certainly was not, and I'm still working on it today. In fact, I expect to be working on this for the rest of my days. This is an ongoing thing. But it is exactly that attitude that allows me to keep moving forward. The idea that we must embrace challenge, we must not remain stagnant, we must always push forward, always trying to accomplish the next thing. We must maintain that mindset in order to keep moving forward and making progress. So, what challenges did I set forth for myself when I took my semester off? That's a good question. During my semester off, I earned my nationally registered EMT certification. As it so happens, this is the same certification that many of the people that came to help me during my crisis held themselves. This gave me the opportunity to regain both control and confidence over my situation and get myself back to where I thought I wanted to be. I also did something else I never thought I would do before. I got a dog. I'd never had a dog before, never had a dog in my life, but it seemed like the right time to do it. Now, Charlie has a very rich story of his own. Charlie was found a stray down in Georgia with his twin brother. His brother had been struck and killed by a car when they were found. They were only 4 months old at the time. When I brought Charlie home, among various anxious behaviors, his dogs definitely have that too, one of the most notable was his utter refusal to go outside. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, dog needs to go outside to do his business, that is exactly the point. So every time I did take Charlie outside, I would have to pick him up and physically carry him and place him outside. And when I did, he'd crawl up at my feet and curl to a ball, this tiny little pathetic ball of fur, totally helpless to the world around him. Charlie was coming from a dark place, but it was okay, because I was too, and we were in this together. If you met Charlie today, you would see that he's the happiest dog you would meet. He bounds outside, and he loves going for rides in my car. He made a 180, and it showed me that I could too. So what did it take to get Charlie back to this typical behavior? Genuine love and attention, unconditionally. No special voodoo, just TLC, tender love and care. And now what did it take for me? TLC for myself. Again, tender love and care for myself. I also spent a lot of time in therapy, seeing a lot of different people. I had to relearn a lot. I had to learn how to remanage my personal expectations, especially by being less self-critical. It was always so hard on myself for not being satisfied with the accomplishments that I'd already achieved, and was never satisfied with any of it. It was never good enough. But I learned how to appreciate what I've done so far and know that those other things will come with time. I also came to the understanding that things in life are not linear. And what I mean by that is every moment is not better than the last. Every day is not better than the one before it. Things happen in a cycle. Okay? And what that means is that there are peaks and there are valleys. And when you are up at those peaks, it is all the more reason to appreciate what you have and what's around you and take in the moment. And then when you see yourself drop into those valleys, you simply understand that things will get better so long as you persevere and push through. And those peaks are coming again. They will be there, I promise. So today, I work as the Assistant Aquatics Director at the JCC of Greater Boston. What are the chances I find myself back at a J today? I love what I do. I have unbelievable opportunity. I teach children as young as 6 months up through their teens how to swim in the water and be safe. I get to work with their parents and their families and teach them as well. I get to train our staff and teach them how to provide a safe environment for all of our members and guests. Unbelievable opportunity that I never thought I would have. Before that, I got to run a competitive swim team in Western Mass for 2 years. An unbelievable opportunity, again, I thought I would never be afforded. During my crisis, I would have never thought I would do anything again with my life. But here I am. So is this all to say that I am the world's most successful 24-year-old? No, I would not say so. But can I say that I'm happy? Yes, and that's the most important thing of all to me. The fact is, it's because of the support of my friends, my family, and Charlie, not to mention gratitude for it all, that made this all possible. So now how does this apply to you? Well, we're better actors than we give ourselves credit for. You may not think it. You may not have taken an acting class. You guys are pretty good. We are, after all, eager to prove ourselves in this world. We want to represent a certain way. We want to appear a certain way. So why then would we admit to all these feelings and pronounce it to the world? I'm here to tell you, you don't need to pronounce it to the world, because I don't know that that's going to help you. But why not your close family and your friends? The people that care about you the most, the people that want to see you be successful in your life. Why not share with them? Now, I cannot be the one to tell you if you're depressed or not. You need a doctor or someone who's licensed to do that. But I can say we all experience significant stressors, especially in your shoes as high school students. You are under a tremendous amount of pressure. And I realize that. I want you to take a moment with your close family, with your friends, and I want you to let your guard down. I want you to share the day's challenges, the highs, the lows, things you're anxious about, things you're looking forward to, a funny story from the day. I want you to simply engage the people around you about the things that you are thinking and the things that you are feeling. I want you to know, believe it or not, talking about your emotions as a guy is not going to affect your ability to party or be cool or any of the above. Alright? It's totally alright. Truth is, mental health does not have a face. It does not discriminate. Just like a cold, a flu, a rash, a cough, we are all susceptible. Doesn't matter if you're making it paycheck to paycheck or if you're as successful as whomever it is that you look up to, we are all susceptible. Each and every one of us. Now, suicide didn't even cross my mind until it was seemingly the only option just like that. No two cases are alike, but absolutely everyone has a breaking point, and this is exactly what we can prevent. Now, struggles don't just come from big things, although they certainly do. Work, school, social life, all things that can contribute to pretty significant feelings. But so too can the little things that add up, right? Little things at home, interactions with friends, can all contribute to really big, significant, heavy feelings. So let's say that these feelings resonate with you, or a close friend comes to mind. Regardless of if it's you or someone else, it need not matter. You are capable of treating a friend just like any other illness. All right? Now I want to hear from you. How would you take care of a friend or a child that was sick or ill? What would you do for them? In that. Listen to them. That's a fantastic one, right? Let's say someone has a cold, right, and they need some help. What are you going to do for them?
Doctor.
What was that?
Doctor. Take him to the doctor.
Take them to the doctor, right? Or ask them if there's something that they need, right? So I came up with a couple of my own examples, and two of them that actually been mentioned, which is fantastic. So firstly, listen, right? But not only listen to them, I want you to actively listen to them. And what I mean by that is ask clarifying questions, follow up, show them that you are not just listening, but they are being heard, and what they are saying is registering with you. Another one, right? Bring them food. Who doesn't like takeout? Sit down and watch a movie on Netflix. It's always something really easy to do. Another one, ask them if they need things, if they need help with anything. Okay, it's really easy to imagine that someone's task for them is totally menial, right? You think it's a menial task, but to them it's this huge looming chore. I encourage you to help them out and get through that. And another one, easy. Send memes, right? Send them funny pictures. Who doesn't appreciate a funny photo? It brings a smile to everyone's face, and it's so easy to do. I want to encourage you to open the door and have an open door policy with your friends. Now, an open door policy is something I've helped in my career, whereby I tell my staff, even though my door may not physically be open, I will make myself available at any time to hear anything that they need. If they have things on their mind, if they need help with things, anything at all, I am available for them. But there's a caveat to that, right? And I encourage you to keep the door open to your friends. But it goes two ways. Self-advocacy. Self-advocacy is one of the most important skills anyone in this room can possess. There is no one in this world that is going to represent your interests better than you. So it's important that if you feel a certain way or if you see something, speak up. Make yourself heard. Because if you don't speak up, there's no way that anyone's going to be able to listen. Now, one thing I do with our staff, we do in-service lifeguard trainings, which is an opportunity for us to review our policies and procedures, as well as our in-water skills. And one of the things I say over and over and over again to our staff is I encourage them to be proactive, in and out of the water. While they are at work and they are a presence, they are to make themselves known to our members and guests, interact, offer assistance, whether it's minor or major. And if that person declines, that's okay, but they know that you're there, and they know that you are there to keep them safe. And this applies the same to mental health. A few words, an offer to listen. That right there can save a person's life. So let's say that things are a little bit over your head. You don't know that you can quite deal with the situation at hand. Your school has support services in place. They have professionals that are equipped with the tools and the knowledge to help you through these situations, and if not, to assist you to resources that can. You can also see a therapist, a psychiatrist, a coach. I've used all of these types of people. There's, first off, no shame in it whatsoever, but more importantly, they really help. If you participate in athletics, speak to your coach, get their input. I'm sure that they can offer something that will help you get by. Doing nothing is the worst route to go. I'll say it again. Doing nothing is the worst route to go. So 10 years ago, if you asked me what I wanted to do with my life, I would look you dead in the eyes and I would tell you I wanted to be an ER doctor. I wanted to help people that were ill and injured, and that's how I knew how I could. I would have the tools, the knowledge, everything necessary and able to help someone that is ailing feel better. Now, doctors, nurses, paramedics all helped me during my crisis. However, they were reactionary by nature. And that's no criticism of theirs, but what had happened already happened. So after my crisis, what I wanted to do with my life, it all changed. Now, I want to be a life coach. I want to help people set out to achieve the goals that they want to achieve. to chase down whatever it is in life that they are passionate about. Get people to go that extra mile. To me, that's the most proactive of all. And now, I'm not saying don't be a nurse, don't be a doctor, don't be a nurse practitioner. Those are all really important jobs and they need to be filled. But what I also want you to know is that there are more ways to help than you may realize. Now, if you despair at the thought of reading, I understand. I've been in your shoes. I have had more literature stuffed down my throat than I even like to admit. And I know that you guys feel the same way. I get it. But I also want you to know that there is something out there. There is an author, a genre, a topic. There is something out there that you can read that you will be passionate about. It is simply a matter of discovering it. One title for me that stood out is Authentic Happiness, Using the New Positive Psychology to Realize Your Potential for Lasting Fulfillment by Martin Seligman. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, this sounds like a total gimmick. New positive psychology to realize your potential, give me a break. I thought the same thing. I thought it was a bunch of hocus pocus. Come to find out, he started a successful master's program at Penn, is a past president of the American Psychological Association, has various other very impressive credentials. So maybe it's not so much smoke and mirrors, and there is something to this positive psychology after all. So my major takeaway from this book included two things. A book on happiness and fulfillment. What do you think my two biggest takeaways, two actionable steps might be? Again, show of hands, please. I'd like to hear what you think it might be. Big takeaway, happiness and fulfillment. Any guesses? Don't be shy. Yeah?
Build relationships.
Build relationships. A great guess. Okay. Any others? Build relationships. That's definitely a great guess. But what if I told you that it was gratitude and utilizing your strengths? So acknowledging what you have and being thankful for it. The clothes on your back, the weather outside, the people in your life, the food on your table, the education that you are being afforded. Being grateful and acknowledging these things can have the greatest impact on your sense of happiness and fulfillment, more so than so many other things. The other one, realizing what you excel at, identifying your strengths and pursuing them. Be it math, science, history, art, music, whatever it is, whatever you are good at. If you go after those things, that is where you are going to get the greatest sense of fulfillment and thus happiness. Happiness is not a simple recipe, as you guys have heard a lot about that today, but instead it's a process and a journey. I want you to understand that you have the power to create the world that you live in. Your reality is just that. It's yours. And it starts from within. Every day is your opportunity. You all have so much power at your disposal, at your fingertips, every single day. I want you to talk to your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors, your friends. I want you to engage them. Speak about your day, your feelings, the things on your mind. We prioritize our phones, these bricks in our pockets. We miss so much right before us. I want you to live in the moment. I want you to take in the love that you see and replicate it. You have friends that cannot see brotherly love. Take in the hate around you, learn the errors of their ways, and spread empathy. To be Mahatma Gandhi and be the change you want to see in the world is nice. But so too can Joshua Goldberg, the nice Jewish boy from Wisconsin. A better world comes when we consider others before ourselves. Mental health can seem awkward. It can seem foreign. It can seem weird. But the only way to change this is by talking about it. You don't learn how to swim simply by looking at a pool. You need to put yourself in, you need to submerge yourself, you need to experience it if you are going to learn how to swim. Mental health is the same way. You can't put yourself in a corner and look at it from a distance. You need to experience it, you need to talk about it, you need to engage in it. We all want to be heard, and we are all capable of listening. I urge you to take care of yourself, your brothers, your sisters, your fathers, especially your mothers. Smile to a stranger on the street. You have no idea how great of an impact a random act of kindness can have on another person. I want to thank you all for your time and attention, and I hope that this can help just someone, somehow. Please do not let this be the end of the conversation. I invite you to continue this with myself and those around you.